Today we're presenting about ectodermal dysplasia, and the presenters are Naomi S., Hannah A., and Antonella W.
So what is ectodermal dysplasia? It is a group of abnormal congenital conditions characterized by developmental anomalies in two or more tissues of the embryonic mesoderm. The trademark characteristics include abnormal development of tissues such as sweat glands, hair, skin, and teeth.
This is Becky Abbott, who is a manager of treatment and research at the National Foundation for Ectodermal Dysplasia.
My name is Becky Abbott, and I'm the manager of treatment and research for the National Foundation for Ectodermal Dysplasias. And we're a nonprofit organization who works with families and supports families who have ectodermal dysplasias. Ectodermal dysplasias is a rare disorder that affects teeth, nails, hair, and sweat glands. For example, our families have very sensitive skin. They also have, some families have skin erosions. Many of the families who have ectodermal dysplasias have either many missing teeth or they have no teeth at all. They have very sparse hair, and then many of our families who have ectodermal dysplasias or individuals who have ectodermal dysplasias do not sweat because they do not have fully functioning sweat glands. Ectodermal dysplasia is a genetic disorder, and diagnosis is hard because most oftentimes a dentist is the first one to diagnose a person with ectodermal dysplasias when they realize that their patient has many missing teeth, and then that dentist usually refers patients to a geneticist for further evaluation. There's no treatments as of right now. However, there is different research that is in the works to try to find different treatments to help our families. Our families most often are helped by dental work or oral treatments. We're working right now on legislation that will help our families get insurance coverage for dental treatments, and that bill is called the Ensuring Lasting Smiles Act. It's federal legislation that's going to be reintroduced this week. And what that legislation will do is it will ensure that medical insurance coverage provide coverage for the repair of any congenital anomaly as long as it's medically necessary treatment.
So this slide is about detecting ectodermal dysplasia during pregnancy. There are three different stages where some ectodermal dysplasias can be diagnosed, which are before implantation, during pregnancy, or after birth. So we're going to focus on the prenatal diagnosis, which can be made for some conditions by ultrasound evaluation of the fetus, if it is visible during the ultrasound. So some examples of where it would be visible would be with a very undeveloped nasal bridge, or with a cleft lip / palate, and classic hand and feet appearance, and an ectodermal dysplasia clefting syndrome. If a specific single gene mutation has been identified as the cause of the condition, prenatal diagnosis may be available by testing the cells in the developing placenta with villus sampling or CVS at 10 to 13 weeks from conception, or by testing the cells in the amniotic fluid at 15 to 20 weeks or beyond from conception. But it is not included in routine screening of women, so that would need to be specifically ordered.
There are different types of ectodermal dysplasia, over 100, and the most common is hydrophytic ectodermal dysplasia, which has an incidence of 1 in every 10,000 to 1 in every 100,000 births. There's also other common forms, such as anhydrotic ectodermal dysplasia, which will be discussed shortly.
So the genetic source of more than 50% of types of ectodermal dysplasia have been researched and determined, and there have been reports of cases of ectodermal dysplasia from nearly all races and ethnicities.
So there's different inheritance patterns for ectodermal dysplasias. X-linked recessive genetic Inheritance results in hydrofibrotic ectodermal dysplasia.
There's also a few examples of autosomal recessive patterns, such as Freed's tooth and nail syndrome.
And then this last column shows different autosomal dominant traits, which would, dysplasias, the first listed being hypohidrotic ectodermal dysplasia.
So anhidrotic ectodermal dysplasia often occurs with immune deficiency. And there are two types of anhidrotic ectodermal dysplasia, which are inherited via X-linked recessive or autosomal dominant genes. And the symptoms of this type of dysplasia are present soon after the child is born. The characteristics include dry, wrinkled, or darkly pigmented skin, hypotrichosis, hypodontia, and hypohidrosis. And anhidrosis can also result in a hypothermia due to the hypohidrosis, so the child does not have the correct ability to produce sweat. Children with this condition are prone to immune deficiency because they have decreased production of antibodies or immunoglobulins. This deficiency can cause frequent and recurrent infections as T and B cells are unable to recognize and attack the foreign bodies which contain glycogen antibodies. And 25% of the people with this condition will suffer from some type of inflammatory disease, such as inflammatory bowel disease.
So sorry. While there's no cure, there are several options for treating numerous aspects of ectodermal dysplasia.
There is no known cure for ectodermal dysplasia, but there is ongoing research to find therapies that can help to alleviate the symptoms. These interventions require intervention of specialty professionals, including geneticists, dermatologists, plastic surgeons, ophthalmologists, speech therapists, and more. Treatment plans vary case by case due to the vast variances of ectodermal dysplasia for each person. Most common cases of ectodermal dysplasia do not shorten life expectancy. However, there are a few rare cases where the life expectancy may be shortened.
Thank you for watching.